Radha Krishna bol bol, bolo re Shobha. Shri Shri Radha Krishna bol bol, bolo re Shobha. Ishika diya, Shabna diya, Preche neche gornitae. Haribo bolo re shikadiya. Radha Krishna bol bol, bolo re Shobha. Shri Shri Radha Krishna bol bol, bolo re Shobha. Miche maya boshe, jacho beshe, kacho habudu bubai miche. Haribo bolo re miche mayar boshe. Radha Krishna bol bol, bolo re Shobha. Shri Shri Radha Krishna bol bol, bolo re Shobha. Jiv Krishna Das, hey Vishwas, kole to ardu ko nai. Jiv Krishna Das. Haribo bolo re Jiv Krishna Das. Radha Krishna bol bol, bolo re Shobha. Shri Shri Radha Krishna bol bol, bolo re Shobha. Krishna bolbe jabe, pulakka habe, jorbi anki boli tai. Krishna Krishna bolbe jabe, pulakka habe, jorbi anki boli tai. Krishna bolbe jabe, pulakka habe, jorbi. Haribo bolo Krishna bolbe jabe. Haribo bolo Krishna bolbe jabe. Radha Krishna bol bol, bolo re Shobha. Shri Shri Radha Krishna bol bol, bolo re Shobha. Radha Krishna bolo, Shange cholo, e matra bhi kaha chai. Radha Krishna bolo. Hari bolo, Radha Krishna bolo. Radha Krishna bol bol, bolo re shobha. Shri Shri Radha Krishna bol bol, bolo re shobha. Jai Sakal Vipod, Bhakti Vinod, Bolan Jakon Om Nam Gai. Jai Sakala Vipod. Jai Sakal Vipod, Bhakti Vinod, Jakon Om Nam Gai. Sakala Vipod, Bhakti Vinod Bolan. Hari bolo re jai Sakal Vipod. Radha Krishna bol bol, bolo re shobha. Shri Shri Radha Krishna bol bol, bolo re shobha. Jai Sakala Vipod, Bhakti Vinod, Bolan Jakon Om Nam Gai. Jai Sakala Radha Krishna bolo, Shange cholo, e matra bika chai. Radha Krishna bolo, Shange cholo. Krishna bolbe jabe, pulaka habe, jorbe anki boli thai. Krishna Jiv Krishna Das, e vishwas korle to arduko nai. Jiv Miche mayar boshe, chacho beshe, kacho habu dubu by Miche. Shikaria shobnoria preche neche gornitai. Haribo, Haribo, Haribo nitai kod Haribo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaur Hari Bo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Go Premanande.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We welcome you all to ISKCON of Silicon Valley. This is our 4th year where we are doing our Sankirtan orientation seminar. By the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Mahaprabhu and Shri Lakshmi Nrsimhadev, and by the blessings of Vaisesika Prabhu, we wanted to welcome all of you to ISKCON of Silicon Valley. We just wanted to introduce you to the devotees here. So we can start with the Naperville team headed by Vamshidhari Prabhu. Prabhu, if it's okay, if you can please stand up so devotees can see you. Vamshidhari Prabhu. He is a leader from ISKCON of Naperville, and he has brought 4 other devotees with him for the Sankirtan seminar. His wife, Shatarupa Mataji. Please stand up, Mataji. Shamala Mataji. Leeleshwari Mataji. She's taking prasadam outside. And we have 2 kids that who have come because they wanted to see how the kids distribute books here. And they are Veda and Vaishnav. Thank you, please. And we have 2 devotees coming from ISKCON, Connecticut. One is Raga Sindhu Prabhu. And Divesh Prabhu. I heard that every year they have a lottery system on who can go for SOS from Connecticut. And this time they were lucky to be chosen. This makes us feel really happy that you both came. And we have from Portland, Jai Sachinandan Prabhu. And we have one Mataji from DC, Stephanie Roberts Mataji. Our inspiration to do this SOS was ISV, as His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu always mentions, is a laboratory where we experiment different strategies. And all of these ideas are coming from His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu, and we are trying out different strategies that will work. And by Krishna's mercy and by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, we have seen success by trying to continue doing these experiments. And when you all come here, we are hoping that you take this experience from ISV and you have also implement it in your temple. Our goal is as a one world team that Sankirtan increases everywhere. So we are hoping that you will get that experience here at ISV, and we are here to assist you in any way you want us to. So the next 3 days, however you want us to be used as instruments, we are happy to do that. Thank you so much for coming. Hare Krishna.
We offer our respectful obeisances to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who brought us the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, and by whose mercy and direction it is still spreading all over the world. His idea was to cover the earth with Krishna consciousness. This is the logo of the Sherman-Williams Paint Company. That's why it says SWP on the paint can. This is their logo. But when Prabhupada saw it, he said, this should be our logo also when it comes to spreading book distribution. So how to create this wave of book distribution, otherwise known as a tsunami. A tsunami actually isn't a big wave. It's just slightly larger than other waves, but it's got a lot of force behind it. And that is by, first of all, being dissatisfied. And this is a presentation, 2-hour presentation I gave to the plenary session of the GBC in Mayapur, because every year the BBT gives a special presentation, and the GBC, it's mandated that the book distribution presentation goes first, because the remaining members on the GBC, most of whom have been there for a long time, and were there at the time of Prabhupada, know that Prabhupada prioritized book distribution. So I asked them, first of all, to be dissatisfied. And why? Because look at the Gideons. They're doing 91.8 million books, 8% increase every year, 108 million books is their, 120 million books is their goal for by 2020. Jehovah's Witness, 70 million copies every 4 months. They're highly organized, way more than us. This is how we stack up next to Jehovah's Witness and Gideon's Bible. There's our tiny little BBT. That's worldwide scores, not North America, by the way. So we're not going to stand for that, are we? Say no, Vaisesika. We're not going to stand for that. So there's a magic in thinking big. And that is to realize that as big as we think, Lord Chaitanya will make up for it. And Srila Prabhupada thought like that. He thought about spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world, which was virtually impossible at the time. And Prabhupada always thought that impossible was a ridiculous word, because Krishna can do anything. If when Prabhupada first conceived of coming to the West and actually made the determination to do so, he went to the place of Advaita Acharya and prayed where Advaita Acharya prayed for Lord Chaitanya to come. And look what happened then. So Prabhupada wanted us to expand unlimitedly. And the bigger we think, the more Lord Chaitanya will give us ideas, especially if we're determined and we incrementally move forward. So one of the ways in which we can measure our success, and Prabhupada told us this, is how many books we're distributing in any given community. It's not the only way to measure success. There are many other programs that are as important because we have to take care of people when they come. We have to take care of devotees. We have to worship deities and so forth. It just so happens that book distribution is highly measurable, and it just so happens that Prabhupada was extremely interested in reading the book scores whenever they did come out. And he measured it as a signal of success of how the Krishna consciousness movement was spreading all over the world. So you can feel free to think the same way. Don't hesitate to think in terms of numbers. That means numbers of dollars coming in in exchange for the books, how much you're giving to the BBT, and how many books are actually going out. There's nothing so satisfying as seeing a huge pallet of books come into your temple, and there's no healthier sign, I might add, than seeing many pallets of books being loaded up in your temple. And then there's a very satisfying feeling when you see all the empty boxes going out. So Prabhupada considered this our first grade preaching activity, distributing books. And there's so many benefits that come. First of all, it's high sadhana. This is a way that we practice Krishna consciousness. Anyabilashita shunyam jnana karmanyanabritam anukulyena Krishna nushilanam. Shil is the verb that Rupa Goswami used, which means, first of all, there's a meditative aspect where we're thinking of Krishna, but there's also an active aspect to cultivating Krishna consciousness, how we're using his senses in his service. And all the great acharyas like Jiva Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, down through our more recent line, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, and Srila Prabhupada, all emphasized how using one's senses to go out into the public, welcome home Rasa Hare Krishna, and delivering Krishna consciousness to others is high sadhana. It's one of the ways in which we absorb our minds in Krishna consciousness, and Srila Prabhupada even writes in a purport that this is practical samadhi. So don't hesitate to call it high sadhana, and you leaders out there who are spreading Krishna consciousness through book distribution, you can introduce this to the devotees, that the reason we're doing this is for self-purification. And what's more, a rising tide lifts all boats. That means as book distribution goes, so do the other programs in the temple, and so does the enthusiasm in the temple. Prabhupada penned the 7 purposes of ISKCON, and interesting to notice that the 7th says, with a view toward achieving the aforementioned purposes, to publish and distribute books. In other words, he conceived of it in this way, that here's the first 6, and we're going to achieve the aforementioned by distributing books and so forth. So there's a new wave of book distribution that's upon us, and one of the ways that it's become successful is through thinking in the team-based model. All for one and one for all. We all work together as one team, and everybody's included, everyone's invited. Why not? It's a high sadhana. It's also goal-driven. We keep very close tabs on how we're doing, and we set goals for ourselves so that we feel a little bit of pressure to achieve them. And it's in those gaps when we set the goals and we feel the pressure to achieve them, and then we achieve them, that we actually realize Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Because practically every time we set a goal, we think, don't we? How are we gonna do this? How's this gonna happen? And don't you lose a little sleep after you set the goal? And you think, how are we gonna do it this time? And the first time we set big goals here at ISV, I remember some devotees wrote me and said, this is, a little too much. And I wrote an article that was published on Dhanavats about the magic of thinking big. And since we hit that first goal, there was a surge, and we've been daring since then and set more and more goals. And since then, Lord Chaitanya has never let us down. And that's because the devotees never let Lord Chaitanya down. They sacrifice their sleep and their peace of mind to reach these goals, don't they? SKP and Malini. Say yes. Okay, so everybody gets to join. And we invite every single person, an animal, anyone who wants to enjoy. This is a stable model with a lot of people each doing a little bit. And we emphasize the monthly Sankirtan festival as a starting point. It's a central point when everybody in the community is invited to come out in a safe environment, fun environment to do book distribution. And here's Sri Vrindavan Devi Dasi's testimonial from New Vrindavan. They just started recently and they are flying. The whole community's going out. And Bhaktivedanta Manor's doing it. ISKCON Pune, ISKCON Durban. The results speak for themselves. Team North America has more than tripled book distribution in the last several years by using team-based, goal-driven model. And the remittance was coming from 41 temples in 2008, and now it's from 71 temples. So teamwork works. And we didn't coin this phrase. Many of you have probably heard it if you work in the corporate world, but glocal. It means to think globally but work locally. Do what you can locally and then think about exporting it all over the world. And that's really our mission here at ISV, is to try to generate success and then to export it as far and fast as possible. So this was a resolution that the GBC made together in 2013, that the local GBCs would develop a plan how to increase book distribution in their area. And in 2017, it was resolved that the GBC embraces the One World team to cooperate with the expansion and organization of book distribution all over the world. That was a suggestion that we made back in 2017. That was in January 2017. That we adopt the same model that we have here in North America that's been so successful, tripling book distribution, and apply it, scale it up on a worldwide level. Do you think that's a good idea? If you do, say Hare Krishna. All right, it's a good idea. One world team, that's what we are. One world goal, that's what we have. And we start on a local level and look at percentages. That's very practical. Everybody knows how to do that. And then we can look at the continent and measure how's the continent doing. And then we measure the world. That's a little trickier. We have some of the brightest minds in ISKCON working on this, how to measure worldwide. First of all, it's not so easy to get everyone to hand over their scores all at one time. And the other thing is, you really do have to measure in currency. And currencies fluctuate and so forth. But we have Radha Mohan Prabhu in Toronto. He's a virtual genius in statistical analysis and figuring these things out. And he's come up with some very practical and now seemingly easy ways to measure this. So over the last 5 years, we've had some modest growth throughout ISKCON, that is worldwide, about an average annual growth of 1%. Modest to say the least. Okay, world remittances, about 3%. This is world literatures. This is based on the, as you see at the bottom, WSN. What's that stand for? What's that spell? WSN, World Sankirtan Newsletter. The reason I'm not as excited about these numbers is it's arbitrary whether you report book scores or not. You can call in, and you can call in whatever you want. Yeah, we just did 1 million books, or you can forget. So it's not so stable. But the average annual growth based on a standardized rate that's fixed at 2013 foreign exchange rates of how many dollars have come into each division of the BBT gives a more accurate reading, because dollars don't lie. And world remittances, in those terms, 3% annual growth. And actually, you see the fluctuation in the little dark spaces at the top when you factor in the fluctuation in currency. This is a little too complicated to explain, so I'm skipping it. Number of temples in 2017 by size of remittance. Look at that little dark space there. It says no remittance. 53 temples didn't remit, and under $5,000 remittance, which is pocket change in any given ISKCON community these days. Anybody walking in the door can just throw that in the hat. There's, how many is that? 108 temples gave under 5,000. 124, 37% gave between 5 and 50,000. Then you start getting to elite numbers, 50 to 100,000, 8%. Then you see the 5%. There were 16 temples. 1% in the 250 to 500, and over 500,000 was 1%. Delhi, Mumbai, ISV account for 20% of the total remittance in the world. And I don't say that out of pride that our numbers in there, but out of practical experience, starting from a little one-horse temple that was in a house. Our deities were in a house in the living room, and then we had a little storefront next to a pizza place or a haircutting place and a pizza place, and we started with what we could, and we kept the mantra going: always better service, make improvements every single month and every single year. Keep looking towards growth. And we've gone from sending out a couple of teams. That was our first goal, send out 2 teams rather than 1. A team meant like 1 or 2 people. And now we were able to remit last year over $500,000 to the BBT. And so we're looking at low-hanging fruits all over North America. Those, we start with looking at the 53 temples that reported 0 remittance to the BBT in 2017. Surely they could give $1 or something. Then there's the 161 temples that gave less than $5,000 to the BBT in 2017. Also low-hanging fruits. So Radha Mohan Prabhu came up with this scale which is yet to be implemented. We're still going by the idea of every temple increasing by 10% this year until this is fully ratified. But he gave this model of a blended goal of those who are on a higher level giving a smaller percentage. It's a little harder to increase by 10% when you're at 250,000 or 500,000 than it is when you're at 0. Okay, so the proposed goal I made to the GBC for an overall worldwide goal, which is at now 3% growth, is to do 10% worldwide. And we're working on that on a BBT level. So the idea is to do better than yourself locally. Compete against yourself, your own team, looking at your scores and seeing how can we do better every year. That's possible. You just make the goals, look at them regularly and think, how can we improve? How can we get there? And grow by sharing. That's what we're doing here. Our idea is that we want the whole continent to come up. We're not just looking at our numbers here at ISV, but we want to see the entire North American scores go up regularly, at least by 10%. And so if we all work together and think like that too and export the kinds of successes we have, we can do that very easily. And then scale the success internationally. That's the next step, is to think globally. So that's global. So there's a BBT marketing services team now that's exporting training, best practices, resources, giving reports to the local GBCs. This has never been done before in this minute detail. So success isn't a mystery. There's a way to do it. There's a template. And if you're good at making sandash or cakes and pies, you've probably got a recipe how to do it. You don't just wing it every time, do you? So in the same way, the recipe has to do with goals. Goals are a switch. Once you set a goal, then the energy comes. And if you haven't set a goal, then you're not serious. And what's measured gets improved. So it's important to measure carefully in as many areas as you can in order to see where you're improving and how you're doing. Where attention goes, energy flows. Everyone say that. It's an excellent mantra for time management. Keep in mind that wherever you're putting your attention, that's where your energy is going. A lot of people each doing a little bit is one of the main themes of expanding book distribution. And here are the 4 laws of book distribution. Number 1, your sadhana must be strong. Number 2 is you must get books. Number 3, the more you show, the more you sell. And number 4, you must organize. I went through those quickly because I'm going to talk a little bit more about them later. So keep the bar low and start. So when you're starting these in your temples, a book distribution program, or restarting, or in continuing it, when you're inviting new people, or when you're starting your community out, it's good to keep the bar very low so everyone thinks, oh, I could do that, anybody could do that. So one of the things we tell people is we're just going out to touch the pavement. We're not distributing any books. And once we get out there, we touch the pavement, and anything we do after that is extra, so there's no pressure whatsoever. Also, here's a few innovations that have worked very well. One is Gomatsya, which is a different way of presenting the full sets of Srila Prabhupada's books, especially the Srimad Bhagavatam, to people, which I'll go into later. So it's expanding around the world. These few views from London, Silicon Valley, Toronto. And also language cards have been a big hit. These are downloadable from distributebooks.com, and our first goal is to have 108 different languages, even though Prabhupada's books are only in about 82 languages. Okay, so language cards increase your capacity in a big way, 33% more increase you'll have if you use language cards. And we'll teach you how to do that this weekend. Salam alaikum, alaikum salam, marava, kifelak, alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. There you have an Arabic card. Arabic book distribution is huge. These books are all available, and you can get them. Another that we're going to talk about today is the Bhadra campaign, and I'll go into more detail about that in a bit. And Kids Sankirtan. Let's hear it for the kids. Go. Say Haribo. Haribo. The fact of the matter is, kids rock. And they grow up fast, and they turn into leaders. So if you introduce book distribution, this high sadhana, into the everyday lives of kids in Krishna consciousness, you'll find that they develop street smarts and compassion, and they become great leaders. Oh, here's one of my favorite ones. Here's Srivatsa now. He's 6'7" or something like that. Yeah, there he is down there with a Gap shirt. That's the first time I took him and a few devotees out. Mayapur, you were there that day, I think. And we went around the neighborhood, in our old neighborhood where the temple was. They were all 5 years old at that time. There's a guy who just bought a book from him, and nobody could resist him. And I thought, this is really wonderful. And then, later on, there's Srivatsa, and he has so many realizations from distributing books over the years and reading the Bhagavatam. It's very impressive. So Kids Sankirtan is spreading all over the world. This is nurturing tender hearts in ISKCON London. Devesh and Vrindarika, Vrindarika especially, is bringing this out in the London area. And here we are, Sankirtan orientation seminars. They're happening all over the world. Nehru thought of a way in which to put India on the map for IT, didn't he? And he said, let's start little tech schools everywhere. And now, look, India dominates the world in tech. And so the way to dominate the world in book distribution is to train others how to distribute books. And it was very much approved by Srila Prabhupada. We had, when I first joined Krishna Consciousness in 1973, I had the great benefit of joining a training party, which was representing the BBT. And we were sent all over the world, and mostly I stayed in the United States and went to different temples. And Prabhupada very much liked the program. There was about 20 of us on that. And he said, this is our program, to go out and train others. Shastradhana we'll talk about, and Gita Jayanti. And effective fundraising. Moto Gita, corporate book distribution. All these are going to be mentioned in the seminar coming up. Distributebooks.com is viable. It's got downloadable videos and language cards and all kinds of things, so keep an eye on it, and you can refer to other people who are developing book distribution, and they won't be disappointed. Our family business on its third printing. Kirtan Oasis, some of you joined last Friday. And lots of tools for managing book distribution. It's important to use everything in Krishna's service and help people come forward on the process of Krishna consciousness. So our legacy is that we are gift givers. That's what Sampradaya means. It means to give the greatest gift, the complete gift to others. And that's what Krishna does. He wants to see that everybody gets this gift of Krishna consciousness. And in the material world, people are dying to get something that's worthwhile, and they're not getting it. But we have that to offer. This is our legacy. Nice work, right? Isn't it? Say yes. Advaita Acharya is Mahavishnu. He oversees the material world. Living entities emanate from Mahavishnu in the material world. And he has great compassion for them. So he calls out to Lord Chaitanya, asking him to come and do something about the degraded age of Kali Yuga. People are getting slaughtered here by misinformation and all kinds of bad practices. So Lord Chaitanya heard his calls. In the Chaitanya Bhagavat, he mentions again and again, Nada. He used to call Vaisesika Nada. He said, your loud cries, you woke me up. I was sleeping on the ocean of milk. You woke me up, I came. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in Navadvip, and then he started his Sankirtan movement, and that's why we're all here. So there's two parts to the Hare Krishna movement. The first part is to chant Hare Krishna, and the second part is to teach others. What's the first part? What's the second part? Part one? Part two? Part one? Part two? 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1. Yes, only two parts, so it's easy to teach. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda open a marketplace. Marketing is a science, and it's got quantitative and qualitative reasoning skills involved. And it means you really have to think about what your audience is. And you have to think, how am I going to make this available to as many people as possible? Those of you who are marketers know that it's a highly artistic science. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission statement was all over the world, every town and village. And there he is dancing down the streets of Orlando, Florida. Mahaprabhu's mission became hidden because of the oppressive nature of the material world. But the great Acharya, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, renewed the marketplace. He understood the intention of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and brought the marketplace out and started a headquarters. And that's what you all need, is a little headquarters wherever you are. If you're at home or you're in a community, you start your marketing headquarters. He started Surbi Kunj and declared the marketplace was now open. And he started praying for help. He wanted a ray of Vishnu to come down. And you can do that. Just before we started, we offered, you'll see on Prabhupada's Vyasasana, we offered this beautiful card that Pri Kishori recreated. It's how to sell a Gita on its own merits. I'll be giving you those this evening, because you can. We're going to go through an exercise. Every one of you will learn how to sell a Bhagavad Gita on its own merit, and I guarantee it. You can sell to anyone, anywhere, at any time. And you'll be a complete success when you just follow this simple card. And when we offered it to Prabhupada today, we also asked him for a few benedictions. And I won't mention all of them or any of them, but I will tell you that they were sincere, and we asked him, and Sri Krishna Purushottam was standing there with me, and we both felt it deep in our hearts, that when we asked Prabhupada, that he'll answer. So one of the ways in which to expand your Krishna consciousness and the Krishna consciousness of the world is just ask Krishna to help. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur did that. He said, please send a ray of Vishnu. It means an empowered person to help us. And he also predicted that a personality would appear to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. Meanwhile, there was a sangha of pure devotees who kept the pure name of the holy name, pure chanting of the holy name going. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was that ray of Vishnu who appeared in the family of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and started spreading the marketing all over the world. He took it all over India, which was no small feat. In its heyday, the Gaudiya Math was renowned. There were great scholars teaching Krishna consciousness in very effective ways all over India, and he was distributing tens of thousands of literatures every day, coming off the printing presses that never stopped. And of course, Burma and England also. He made forays into other countries, and he had this vision that it would spread all over the world. And then when our founder Acharya, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, at that time known as by his initiated name, asked his spiritual master what he should do. He was a grahasta at the time. His guru told him, if you ever get money, print books. They had, at that time, spent a lot of money on building a gigantic temple, and his guru wasn't exactly completely satisfied because devotees were fighting over the rooms. And then once you get a big temple and a property, everyone starts saying, this is mine, that's yours, and so forth. So his vision was keep preaching, keep distributing books. If you ever get money, print books. And that's what Prabhupada did. He took this very seriously. And from that, taking his guru's instruction seriously, he spread the marketplace all over the world. I love that picture. That's our logo on distributebooks.com. And Prabhupada leading the charge with a Bhagavatam in his hand. He created that Bhagavatam. He put that together. That's what he brought with him on the Jaladuta when he came, leading the charge. Here's a pamphlet that Prabhupada made to advertise his books, 60 volumes of elaborate English version all over the world for scientific knowledge of God. And at that time, he only had the first canto in 3 volumes, and he was looking at 60. And all over the world, he had no resources, he had no connections, he had never been anywhere but India. And that was his vision, so think big, right? Prabhupada had this plan that he would inject Krishna consciousness into the world through literature distribution. And it's a valid plan because books change the world. And many of you have seen our presentation called The Pen is Mightier Than the Sword, proving that world movements start through the distribution of literature. So you can read this for yourself. Prabhupada liked book distribution, guaranteed. I was sitting with Rabindra Sarup Prabhu about 5 years ago at the Philadelphia temple, and the devotees there were asking, he was temple president at the time, they were requisitioning, asking for various kinds of funding and space in the temple to start their book distribution program. And he kept saying yes to everything. And some of the devotees were surprised. It was like, how come you're giving away so much? And he said, I was there. I was there with Prabhupada. I saw he wanted this. I was so impressed. That's why I asked him to write the foreword to my book, because I was so impressed with the depth of his conviction and realization about Prabhupada's desire to see books spread all over the world. This Prabhupada spoke from the Vyasa-san in Los Angeles, 1975. How many of you were there? 1975? You were in LA then? You were. You might have been. That's true. You too. I think that's true. And you just recycled in. Prabhupada said, print as many books in as many languages and distribute throughout the whole world. I love this mantra. Think of it. It's got everything in it. Just print as many books in as many languages and distribute throughout the whole world. 3 things. Many books, many languages, all over the world. Keep that in mind. That's our mission. So Prabhupada often referred to other groups like the communists, and he saw how they were growing so quickly in India and other places just by literature distribution. Watchtower I mentioned, they're distributing books. The Gideon's Bible are really after it, and they're doing huge. So this direct order, if you can find a direct order, so Prabhupada writes this in the Bhagavatam, is a manifestation of his internal energy. When the Lord says something, it gives an order. And if you pick it up, this particular energy is a means of seeing the Lord face to face. This is the way to connect to Krishna. This is bhakti. So Prabhupada said, kindly help me, this is my request. So he made a request, and if you grab onto that request, you'll be benedicted. Your life will become auspicious because you're taking up a request from Srila Prabhupada. Great Acharya who's asking us to help in some way. I'll help. Raise your hand if you want to help. Very good. Fast as you can. I want all my students try vigorously. Vigorously means you try really hard. And Krishna says there's no servant more dear than the person who tries for this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, become a guru devotee. You should come to the standard of guru. He told everybody so that you can go and teach this to other people. That's our movement. You're supposed to become a guru devotee. And that means heavy, teaching, practicing, integrity. So Prabhupada said, if you just try to do this, if you try to preach, that was the context of the statement, then you will get superior strength and knowledge. What will you get? Correct. About Krishna consciousness. So it's a rapid way to make spiritual advancement. And here are the 4 laws of book distribution a little bit unpacked. The first is, your sadhana must be strong. Say. 2 is. 3. We always say that one twice. And 4 is. Yeah, so your sadhana must be strong. This is the genesis of our entire preaching movement, because you can't distribute what you don't have. And sadhana should be strict, serious, and sincere. And if you make your sadhana strict, serious, and sincere, then your life will blossom. Not only that, you'll get a taste. And you have to get a taste, otherwise you won't be able to practice Krishna consciousness or anything else for that matter. So the taste is there, but it's just a matter of turning one's attention towards the holy names and towards the Srimad Bhagavatam and the other practices of Krishna consciousness. And when you get a taste, even a molecule of taste, then you'll have an abundance of Krishna consciousness to spread all over your town. Actually, it'll go past your town. This is the tsunami. It'll go into your whole county, then into your state, then into your nation, and go over the ocean and flood into other countries. It'll take over the whole world. One molecule of taste for chanting Hare Krishna. It's so powerful. So if you have strict, serious, and sincere sadhana, and you get a little taste, that's what people will notice when they look at you when you go out to distribute books. They'll say, that person has a taste. Living entities know that. They know when someone else has a taste. And they're always looking around. It's like, what that's go? How come that guy got something? How come I didn't get something? And they'll see something in you, and they'll say, how can I get that also? You say, right in this book, just read it. So what we're distributing actually is the overflow of our own taste. If you get a taste by strict, serious, and sincere sadhana, then you have something to distribute. And when the devotees go out the door, frankly, they're being swept out the door by their overflow. I watch here at ISV year after year. The devotees are not going out in these huge numbers and distributing tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of books because they have to, or because anyone's making them do it, or because they have to make a quota or something like that. They're being swept out the door by the flow of their own taste. They want to be out there, and people reciprocate. So one of the ways to get the taste is to chant a chapter of Bhagavad Gita every day. Chant 1 chapter a day. This is called Chad. Prabhupada encouraged this many, many times in his instructions to his disciples and followers that you should chant at least 1 chapter of Bhagavad Gita every day. And you can join Chad. Gandharvika's here. She's the chairman of Chad chairman for the world. Anyway, she has a website. You can go to the website. What's it called? Readchat.com. Readchad.com. Chad stands for chapter a day. And you can join the tens of thousands of other people who are chanting 1 chapter a day. You can also get Be a Sage page by page. This is an app. Nam Smaranam Prabhu and team put this together as an app. Here's what it looks like right now. And this is a free app for iOS and also for, what's that other one called? Yeah, Android. Okay, so Be a Sage page by page. You can get this, and it'll tell you how many pages to read every day in order to complete all of Prabhupada's books. And there's no better way to get a taste than to complete all of Prabhupada's books. You should do it on a regular basis. Finish the Bhagavatam. Finish the Krishna book. Keep going through. Stay on a really strong, keep up a strong regimen of reading the books constantly. And you can do that by following this little chart. There's Be a Sage page by page. You can hold your phones up. Will it work from there? Try it. Tell me if it works. What's that called? It's called a QR code. Try to shoot your phone at that and see if it works. Let's get a billboard on the 101 freeway. Just put this big QR code. People like shoot it when they go by. Will it go from that far? Can you get a QR code? Okay. It work from here? What about from the 101 freeway? We can do that? Let's get a big billboard and put up. Okay, so the second one is get books. And because we've done scientific studies, we've gone to the major universities. Which universities did we go to do these studies? MIT? Berkeley. We went to UC Berkeley. Where? Stanford. Yale, Amherst. And we employed the scientific community there to study this conundrum we were having, and they found out that you can't distribute books you don't have. It was unanimous. And all the academic institutions, all the scientists of the world decided that this was a fact. Therefore, we'd like to say, give it a military cry out. What is the second law of book distribution? Okay, you failed. So when you go into boot camp and the sergeant starts yelling at you, you have to say, "Sir, yes, sir," when you're answering. Good. Yeah, you could make it in boot camp, but not that I'm recommending it. But for this, for the number 2 only, we use the military term. So when someone asks you, what's the second law of book distribution, you say? Yes. Okay, all together. 1, 2, 3. Yes. That's right. You got to get books. And when you have books, then you'll feel inspired to take them out and sell them. If you, like when we went to the airport in Calcutta, I just happened to bring with me, because I planned ahead, about 20 books. And we walked around the airport in Calcutta, and that was the easiest place I've ever distributed books in my life, in the Calcutta airport. But the reason I was able to do it is because I had books. And anywhere you go, if you take books, and if your temple has books, and if you have books in your home, and if you pile them up in front of the refrigerator and tell the family we're not eating until they're gone, then you're going to sell books. So this is at Los Angeles many years ago, before you all started coming down. We had a little team that started growing where we'd pack those little book packs and distributed them during the parade. And now we have books in many different languages. There's Japanese, Vietnamese, Arabic, Farsi. And I guarantee you, if you carry these books with you, you're going to meet the people. Lord Chaitanya will arrange it. And it's good to have a small section of books, other books that it's a high percentage chance you could meet people from various cultures who might take Vietnamese, Japanese, Farsi, Arabic, Korean, and the many other books that we have. Chung toi dang fang tvo, young shach yoi cho, hoi ning ni yoi su, tin vo yi ho, ting tang to, su ho tro ang sang nai chong king, touch da mang no bang tong chok chong chach bang, chum come on. So, no, I don't deserve it. I was completely faking it. So, fact is that we have all these foreign languages, and if you learn a word or two in each language, then you'll become people's best friend. Bonjour, ni hao, ciao, hola, hey, and if you make it your business, be serious about book distribution and learn how to speak in the various languages that you're going to do, where you're going to meet people, you'll find that you'll expand your capabilities. And so develop your repertoire. It's fun. You all know you know so much, all of you. Since you were kids, you learned everything. You learn how to dance, you learn how to paint, you learn how to paint musical instruments, you got a profession. I mean, you know more than anybody. You can learn this in like 3 days. So just figure it out. Here was a happy day over at the Vietnamese Mall. I just sat down with Vietnamese books here at the Starbucks, and everybody took one. And here's a Muslim mullah who took that little Farsi book right back to Afghanistan. And there it is, sitting somewhere in Afghanistan, ready to start an empire of Krishna consciousness. So there's extra book points, by the way. It's extended to the end of this year. If you want to do bigger, and we were like 2 points behind one temple in Southern California as far as book points go. Way ahead in Lakshmi, but behind books. So if you want to make up for it, do a few of these books. You get extra points for them. Number 3 is the more you show, the more you sell. Please say it. The more you show, the more you sell. One more time. Yeah, it's just a fact in marketing. If you show things, then people will take it, because living entities are curious and they get attached to things. They look at them, and everyone's looking around and finding substandard things to look at and to become attached to. So our job is to take out Krishna in the form of literature and prasadam and the holy names and show it to people, and they'll do their job. They'll get attached to it. That's what they do. Living entities get attached very easily. So here's a little book stand. This was many years ago down in Santa Cruz. We just set up book stand, and we just noticed all day long people came over and browsed the book. So quiz, if we didn't put up the book stand there on that stand, how many people would have come over to look at books, approximately? Okay, very few. That's a wrong answer. 0 is the answer, yes. Thank you. If there were no books there, then nobody would have come over and looked at the books. So if you put up a book table and you just start showing books, this is an innovative way to show books to the busy street. Put them up, people will come. Here's this appears to have almost started a riot there somewhere in India. This one Mataji sets up, you see piles of books, you start showing to people and they buy them hand over fist. Events are very successful. Here's the Pumpkin Festival, and now we discovered why by looking at this picture, because the books are the same picture as the pumpkin, same color as the pumpkin. The Diwali events are huge, and here's the smart box, our little friend that works even while you're sleeping. And so you can put these out in various places around the city. How many do we have now? And how many? 95. Thanks to give Selva a hand. There's Srivas Pandit Prabhu behind the smart table, and Prabhupada said he wanted every respectable person to have a full set. Tom Hopkins, the greatest salesman in the world, said, always sell in bunches like bananas. If you can sell one of something, you can sell a whole bunch of them together. So Srimad Bhagavatam is bunched together. So is the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And we're going to hear more about set book distribution, but this was a day we were going door to door in the apartment complex, and SKP, I was down the hallway. SKP was there with his posse, and he was outside the door, and he called me over and said, come over, stand right here. So if they see you like big American, they'll make sure that we come in. So they invited us in, and then SKP convinced them to take a set of books, but their main problem was that they said, where are we going to put it? We don't have any room in this little apartment. So we looked around, and see that where the red arrow is, where the Bhagavatams is? On that shelf there were hairbrushes and games and useless books and all kinds of stuff. And we said, oh, we'll get rid of this stuff for you. And they pushed it all out the door, and that's what happens. When the Bhagavatam comes in, everything else gets pushed out. Here's Shraddha Devi Dasi. This man is from Morocco. He's a Muslim, and he bought the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and happily so. Look at him. So we have the complete set. That means everything all together, and if you put these all together and show people, what might happen? What might happen? They'll take it. Now, if you don't put it together and you don't show it, what will happen? Say nothing. Nothing. Correct. Very good. Okay, so motelgita.com, we're up about 500,000 Gitas. And why? Because going around showing them to the motel owners and saying, hey, why don't you take it? And they say, okay, we'll take it. Going in all the drawers. And the fourth law of book distribution is you must organize. Say that one. Hey, you can do a little bit here and there if you just stay in an unorganized state, but if you decide that you're going to use every organizing principle available in the world, the same kind of organizing principles that took Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak from a little garage and made them the largest corporation in the world, you're going to do that with your organization in Connecticut or in Illinois or in Washington, D.C., or wherever you are, then step by step, you will be able to create a book distribution empire. And that's a good idea. I highly recommend it. Organization means using your calendar, planning out ahead of time when you're going to do things so that other things don't fill in the dates, because that's what happens in ISKCON. If you don't take the date first ahead of time by about a year, then everyone else will say, hey, why don't we have a pizza fest on this day? It's like, why don't we distribute books and have a pizza fest afterwards? So goals are potent. Keep that in mind. And organizing, where you put the books. This was our first attempt at organizing the books. This was somebody's house. We didn't have a room at the temple. And Rasika Shekhar Prabhu and Satyadev Prabhu, they're showing off this new organized system we had. And it's grown from there. Organization means counting up every penny that you take in and make sure it's accounted for and turned into the BBT and the temple, using all kinds of technology, and reporting your scores to the Sankirtan newsletter. So what's the first law of book distribution? Your sadhana must be strong. Say that. Your sadhana must be strong. The second one we say it like military, and that is? Yes. The third one we say twice. And the fourth, and number 4? Yeah, you better organize. So the monthly Sankirtan Festival is one of the primary ways that book distribution is spreading all over the world. It starts off with one day or one weekend a month when everybody in the whole community is invited to come out and participate in book distribution, prasadam distribution, chanting the holy names, all together as a group and having fun. No emphasis on distributing books when you first start these kinds of things, just on touching the pavement and going out and meeting people. And these kinds of programs are very successful, and they're expanding all over the world. There's a recipe for this. This is all on our website. You can look at it. But making it fun, emphasizing teamwork, etc., encouraging the heck out of everybody, and making sure that you use all the organizational tools that are available to you. And teamwork is important. So start small and grow. So here's a few tips to ponder. You want to know a few tips? Yes. Okay. That guy does. First is to pick the ripe fruits. When you go out on book distribution, you don't have to convince everybody. You're going out and looking for people who are open. And we call these ripe fruits. Just like when you go to pick fruits on a tree, you look for the fruits that are ripe, and you pick those first. You don't try to take a unripe fruit and pull it off the vine, do you? You don't break off the branch and drag it down the street. So same thing with people. Be very sensitive. Are they open? Is there some opening there? If so, then they're a ripe fruit. Here's a ripe fruit. This devotee met this gentleman for the first time at a Rath Yatra in New York. And you see him on the left? Picture taken. He took a book. Ripe fruit? Yes. Yeah, it's labeled at the top. Okay, ripe. Okay, the guy on the right-hand side? Ripe or unripe? Okay, how about this? How about that? This? That? Keep up. Very good, very good. Okay, so you got to be aware. Now, the other is core and explore. So when you're doing book distribution, you think, well, I already know how to do a certain kind of book distribution. Why don't I just do that all the time? Well, I recommend that you use Charles Schwab's formula, which is core and explore. So 80% do what you know works. 20%, take 20% of your time and your resources and explore new channels. Try some of the new methods that other people are doing. Don't always stay in the same kind of thing that you're doing now. So that way you can expand. Here's our prime directive. It's written at the bottom. Please say it together. Exactly. And we are ambassadors of goodwill. That's why we're going out. We're in the service business. What kind of business? Our motto is? We are? We remain? We go out for? We do service for? I save one soul at a time, beginning with? Myself. Treat people with? Respect. Offer? Focus on? Teamwork. Preaching means? Giving. Don't be? Express? Empathy. Practice? Make people? Why? Correct. So get in the habit of expressing sincere gratitude and thanks to people that you meet, live with, and associate with. This is the mood of Sankirtan and of the Vaishnavas. Here's a few resources, distributebooks.com we maintain regularly, and ISKCON Book Distribution. There's a lot on there. You can go and take the resources. And remember that book distribution is fun and easy. Say, book distribution is fun and easy. Correct. So, now, how to sell a book on its own merit. But before I do, I'll take a couple of reflections. Anything that you heard that's stuck in your mind, please reflect it back. We have 4 microphones ready to go around. Yes.
I like the point when you said the success is not a mystery, it's a recipe.
That's right. Yeah. My Aunt May could make great cakes and pies, and she had a recipe for it. She could tell you how to do it. And similarly, there's a recipe for success. Actually, my friend Willie Jolly used to say that. It's a recipe for success. So just follow the recipe. What else? Yes, Upper May.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I like the point where you said that impossible isn't like a fool's dictionary.
Yeah, that was Prabhupada's statement when during the morning walk in 1975, Prabhupada had asked that his Chaitanya Charitamrita be published within 2 months. And there was also in arrears the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the then head of the BBT said, but Prabhupada, that's impossible. And Prabhupada said, impossible is a word used only in a fool's dictionary. And they did it. It was impossible, but they did it. Anyway, thank you. What else? Yes.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, recently we are making some pamphlet for some program in corporate. So, and then when I saw Prabhupada's pamphlet, so amazing that it's written that Srimad Bhagavatam, India's message for goodwill and what is that? Goodwill and peace and goodwill. So
Peace and goodwill.
I was just saying that how Prabhupada was so far out in thinking that whom he is addressing and what this message contains.
Sure.
So it's amazing to see that that's what we are inheriting from him.
Yeah, if you look at Prabhupada's articles from Vrindavan before he came to America that he was writing in the BTG, they're all topical. He wrote about things that were happening in the world. He was looking at the news and seeing what are people taking in, what's happening in the world. Easy Journey to Other Planets. It was a time when people were fascinated with Sputnik and propelling themselves into space and sending astronauts, and Prabhupada wrote Easy Journey to Other Planets. Still a perennial favorite. One more? Okay, one.
The word that stuck with me is ask Krishna for help. Exemplified by Advaita Acharya and Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
Yes.
So the result is tremendous.
Yes, it is. Ask for help. Ask sincerely. And Advaita Acharya made loud cries. He was really calling out. And it's really the foundational aspect of bhakti practice in general, is to really call out for Krishna as loud as you can. Apana samsritim gauranya nama vivashogranan tata sadyo vimucheta yad bipeti swayam bhayam. Early on in the Bhagavatam it says, take advantage of the fact that Krishna has availed himself to you in the form of his name and call it out loudly. And you'll have all success by that method. Thank you. Very good. Yes?
Think big for Sankirtan and Lord Chaitanya will back it up. That's what stuck to my...
Think big, because Lord Chaitanya is the greatest, he's the wealthiest capitalist. The Chaitanya Charitamrita says. And if you, here in Silicon Valley, people need capital to get started. They go to these venture capitalists. So we go to Lord Chaitanya and say, Lord Chaitanya, I'm trying to get a thing going here, We need some help. And he'll back you up. He'll back you. Shraddha, you had one.
So Maharaj, I was thinking about that when we do book distribution, there is a thought about book counts, and you had mentioned in the beginning about Lakshmi remitted and the counts and etc. But still, you had the prime directive was leave with a good impression. So
that's right. Yeah, we're really looking at leaving everyone with a good impression. So you have to balance these kinds of things. You can't think it's all about the scores. We just push forward. We really just want to sell books, but we want to leave people with a good impression. It just so happens when you go out in that mood, then you sell lots of books. The two go hand in hand. All right, so here's how to sell a book on its own merit. The book, Bhagavad Gita, has everything in it and on it that you need in order to convince somebody to take a book. In many companies, when they sell products, they... I was going to do this tonight, right? Or did I say I was going to do it tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow. We interrupt this program to bring you something else. And this is Go Matsya. So, who is Matsya? Just say Krishna. Yes, good. And of course, there's King Satyavrata. He picked up little Matsya out of the river because that little fish was telling him that I'm one of your subjects in your kingdom, so you have to protect me too, and big fish are going to eat me. So the king, and the heart of the king is to take care of everybody, all the prajas, everybody who's born in his kingdom he wants to take care of. And then he grew. Matsya grew and grew. And you see him there keeping that boat with the Vedas. He saved the Vedas. He's famous for that. Nindasi yagya vederaha. No, how does it start? Pralayapayobdi jale dritavanasi vedam itavahitra charitramakedam keshavadrita Meena Sharira Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. So this is immortalized in the words of Jayadev Goswami, how Matsya, the avatar of Krishna, who's the Lord is known as the great actor. He does things that boggle the mind. He started as a little minnow, then he grew bigger and bigger, and he had a whole intention to benedict this pure devotee, the king, and also to save the Vedas by keeping them up on a boat when the pralaya came, when the devastation by flood came. And so he preserved the Vedas, and he does this as one of his pastimes. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritam dharma samstapanartaya sambhavam yuge. He's always interested in preserving dharma because it's for the good of all the living entities. And so Matsya comes and saves the Vedas, and this is the namesake of this organization called Go Matsya. And there's a gomatsya.com. So here's the mission of Go Matsya, which is preserving Vedic culture through mass distribution and education. Could everyone say that, please? That's right. And it's a mission. Why? The pen is mightier than the sword. I alluded to that earlier because books are containers, and they hold idea seeds. And when those containers go out into the world, for instance, when Charles Darwin wrote his book called The Origin of the Species, because it was a well-organized book, albeit highly speculative, the ideas went out into society, and they're embedded there today. People all over the world either believe in the idea of natural selection, or at least they've heard of it, and practically none of them have read the book. But the ideas are out there everywhere. So the American Revolution was started by a pamphlet by Thomas Paine, and he distributed it, a booklet, and the booklet went out to everybody in the colonies, and that, according to historians, is what started the American Revolution. So books are really the pillars to preserving any religious culture. The Shastras have to be there. And we just happen to have the most extensive of the Shastras that are here in the world. I mean, the Bible's had such a big effect on the world, but it's one book. It's a compilation that fits into a little book like that. The teachings of Buddha are much scantier than that. He only said a few things, and people have extrapolated on those. He gave a couple sermons. They were written down. And they're starting from this, and they've developed these various religious traditions into worldwide, world-known religious systems. And we're starting from here. How far can that go? So what we're distributing is extremely important for maintaining the dharma of the world. So the Srimad Bhagavatam, this is our main literature. And it's the mature fruit of the Vedic literature. And it's like no other literature in the whole universe. It's for those who read Srimad Bhagavatam and appreciate it, it's a drinking nectar, life-giving nectar. Who read Srimad Bhagavatam today? Who took a little time? Took a little time out? Sit down with your Bhagavatam? And I see all of you raise your hands, are all smiling too. I sat down this morning, I'm reading from the 8th canto about Gajendra. And before I venture out into the world, I make sure I finish my pages. Of course, I didn't finish yesterday, so I had to stay up late. I still had I have a quota I read every day, and because I was about 10 pages behind because I had a lot of meetings yesterday, I had to stay up late to finish, but I felt really satisfied when I did finish. And my dreams were better. And so it's really important to be absorbed in the Bhagavatam. And if you're absorbed in the Bhagavatam and and you're feeling how it's realigning your life and your mind and the way in which you interact with the world, and reading Prabhupada's purports is bringing you back every single day to the focused practice of Krishna consciousness, then you'll feel compelled to distribute it. So somebody with a microphone, please read this. Over here, you read it. Gita Priya, born on Gita Jayanti. Go ahead, read it for us.
I want that every respectable person has a full set of Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita in his home.
How did she do? So are you trying for that? Do you sell Bhagavatam sets door to door? Say yes. You got the mic, say yes. Does she sell Bhagavatam sets door to door? Okay. There's witnesses. She's being all humble right now. Okay. I want that every respectful person has a full set of Bhagavatams and Chaitanya Charitamrita in his home. Remember I told earlier about if you get an order and you just grab onto it and go for it, anything can happen. It seems implausible that you could sell thousands of sets of Bhagavatams, doesn't it? But if you try for it, and it's already backed by Prabhupada, and he did it. He came to America with Bhagavatams and made them available, and now people all over the world are reading Bhagavatams. So we can continue in that same tradition. So who can enroll in Gomatsya? Yes. And who should enroll in Gomatsya? Everyone who wants to do good for the world. So it's a way of presenting the Srimad Bhagavatam to people that is not selling a book per se, but it's actually offering them an opportunity to join the mission that we call Gomatsya. We're explaining to them that we're preserving the Vedas through mass distribution and education, and that we're asking them to join in and be part of it. And Malini, why don't you say about the difference between before and after when you're just selling Bhagavatam sets and when you're offering them, asking them to join Gomatsya?
Initially, when we tried to distribute Srimad Bhagavatam sets, we felt that people were feeling so much of pressure that they have to take these books, means they're taking a responsibility to finish reading it. But when we started presenting Go Matsya, they were very happy because they want to be a part of a cause. Everybody is looking for some cause. Recently, when we are going door to door, when we said that we are coming here because we are doing a project, and they started hearing very attentively. They want to know, oh, what is your project? And then we said, it's Go Matsya, we are preserving this Vedic culture. And they felt that it's very easy to be part of a cause as a team together, rather than take the entire set of Bhagavatam and finish reading it or something like that. So there was a huge difference.
But when they join Go Matsya, they end up taking the Bhagavatam set and reading it even with more gusto than they might have before, because they feel part of something, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
SKP, you say something about your realization of this presentation of Go Matsya.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, it definitely adds when we tell about Go Matsya to the people. Earlier we used to present directly about Srimad Bhagavatam, but when we have this Go Matsya, it's a part of our Sanatan Dharma, then people are responding. And not only that, Bhagavatam costs $250 for us, but they are giving for the project $500, $1,000 just as a money part also, which increase our book scores and Lakshmi scores. But when we talk about this, Bhagavatam is part of a big project called Go Matsya all over the world, preserving our Vedic and Sanatan Dharma. People are responding very quickly.
Good to know.
Yeah.
It's more compelling to want to join a mission and helps preserve Vedic culture. And even by keeping a set of Bhagavatams in one's home, one is preserving Vedic culture by keeping the books very carefully. And then, as we point out here, there's different levels of enrollment. They get various things: divine service to Matsyadev, subscription to Bhakti Pulse, spiritual association with the international community, and their name gets displayed on the Vedic preservation wall, which is on the website. Yes?
Ruchi, one more thing that we felt after we started Go Matsya, it started increasing.
There's even more than that? Tell us what else they win.
The moment we said that Go Matsya, we're enrolling everyone, and there are different levels where you can enroll, like you can be an advocate, an organizer. Whenever we started Go Matsya, we started asking for referrals, and it's been great success. Just 3 weeks ago, we went to someone's house, and then we gave him a Bhagavatam set. He took it, and we asked, "Do you know anybody who you can refer to?" He said, "You see my next door neighbor. You go to his house. He will take." And then we went to his house, and then when we asked him, "Do you know anybody who you think will take?" He actually went. He looked at his address book in his phone, and he also got the addresses where they live. He went to Google Maps because he did not know exact addresses. He went to Google Maps. He said, "Oh, this is the pin. Take this address, this address, this address, this address." He gave 4 addresses. 4 out of 4 took the Srimad Bhagavatam sets.
4 out of 4. Okay, I didn't pay her to say that. So when we approach people, we give them 3 levels to enroll on. And the first is called an advocate, which means that they keep a set of Bhagavatams in their home. Second is a distributor, which means they give some referrals. And a third is an organizer, which means Shri Shri Radhamanan Mohanji ki jai, Shri Shri Lakshmi Nrsingadev ki jai, Shri Panchatattva ki jai, Gaur Premanande Haribol. I just realized the artik's over. That's why the flower and everything else. At the top level, as being an organizer, they have the designation of bringing in other distributors and advocates, which means they become more active. If this looks familiar to you at all, this kind of structure, means that you might have seen or been presented Amway, or there are other organizations out there that do what's called network marketing. And that is, in network marketing companies, people, the company doesn't pay for advertising. They depend on word of mouth advertising. And so when there's a lot of budget spent in most companies for advertising to get people to appreciate the brand that they have and then to want to buy it. But in network marketing, basically what happens is they take that same amount of money and they give it to the distributors who go out and introduce it to people. And that when people introduce it to somebody, then they find out that everybody has what's called a warm market. So cold marketing is more difficult because you don't know who you're talking to, and it takes a little more time to introduce them to the concept. Of course, when we were in Naperville, somebody there had a list of all the people whose homes we should go to, right? I think they got it from that leak on Facebook or something like that. No, they had an insider information about different homes, so we went to specific homes because we had a better idea of who was who. And we did quite well that weekend, didn't we? About 15 or 17 sets, I think, doing that method. So it's always better to be more informed when you go out and sell sets. And who's better informed than people themselves who know, oh, that guy next door will take one. So what we're doing is we're using this technique of network marketing. We're asking people who themselves become enthusiastic about it to go to the people that they know already will take it. And then those people also, we're asking them to sign up and become part of it also. And so it's a network marketing of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes?
Prabhu, I think many years before you mentioned a concept called Maven, which
yes.
is organizer role. Can you?
Yeah, just the name Maven comes from the book The Tipping Point. Have you ever seen that? It's a book about social trends and marketing and so forth. And the author, in researching what gets trends started, he tracks various trends, and it's like, where do they come from? Why do certain people start wearing a certain kind of clothes? And at one of the studies he did, there was a kind of shoes in America, you'll never have heard of these, but they're called hush puppies. And they were very popular back in the, Stephanie, you know about these? Yeah, Americans know more. They were popular maybe in the 70s, maybe the 80s, maybe 60s, 70s. And then they became really out of style. And then a group of artists in the one of the hip areas of New York started wearing them, sort of as a offbeat fashion statement. And then suddenly they came back again in a huge way, and Hush Puppy Company came back up. And so he traced that back to a few people. And similarly, in other trends, he traces it back to what he calls mavens. There's certain people that just are really connected with a lot of other people. They're unusually connected. In fact, you know, if you ask, like, if you want to know anything about it, about New York City or Silicon Valley, or who would you ask? And somebody, you ask this person. He knows everybody, or she knows everybody. And so these are called mavens. And when we're going around selling Bhagavatams, we're looking for these mavens. They can become organizers. And they can immediately jump in and say, yeah, sure, no problem, we can handle this. And if they become convinced about the mission, preserving the Vedas, and the cream of the Vedas is the Bhagavatam, then they can do a lot themselves. They essentially join Chaitanya's movement, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement on the spot, and become distributors. And that's a empowering thing. It's a life-changing thing for them to do. So the next big program coming up is the Bhadra campaign, and this will be on 24th of September, which is any savants here? Okay, there's one savant. It's on a Monday, the 24th. Okay, so Bhadra, what is it? I need somebody to read this for me, please. Go ahead, you read.
If on the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, one places Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne and gives it as a gift, he will attain the supreme transcendental destination.
Did that impress you in any way? Yes. Which way did it impress you? What did you hear about that impressed you? A few people said yes, so please speak up. Oh, use the microphone. There's several thousand people listening, so you gotta...
Supreme transcendental destination.
What about it? How do you attain the supreme transcendental destination?
Just by gifting Bhagavatam.
Ooh! What do you have to say?
So if you gift the Srimad Bhagavatam on full moon day, on your Bhadra, then you will go back to Godhead.
Who says?
Srila Prabhupada, and it is also said in Srimad Bhagavatam.
It says it in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 12, 13, 30. It's in the Shastra. This is absolutely true. It's an axiom. It's true. So if you inform people, especially those who have some appreciation for the Srimad Bhagavatam, for the idea that it's axiomatic truth, that you will create quite a stir in your community, wherever you may be, to let people know and start getting ready now for September 24th, that if you're organized to allow people the privilege of paying for a set of Srimad Bhagavatams, or 2 or 5 or 100 or 1,000, that can be given to others on that day, then what do they get in return? And how much does it cost for a set of Bhagavatams? $200? $250, that's it? How much does it cost for a salad in Silicon Valley? $250. So, I mean, when all said and done, when you give the tip and the whole thing, it's $250. So Bhadra, this is our flyer from last year. Bhadra, you'll notice it's on a beautiful golden throne. So we have those thrones, and we're shipping them in from China, India again. So we have thrones available, and we also have Bhagavatams available. As of this broadcast right now, we have it. Who knows if the world's even going to be here next week. So take advantage now. Get your Bhagavatams, get your thrones, and get ready for September 24th. If you start advertising this 2-3 months ahead of time and organizing for it, I guarantee you'll sell hundreds of Bhagavatam sets. We did it like a week ahead of time last year, and how many did we sell in one week? 108 Bhagavatam sets, like in a few days. We did that. And same thing in Mumbai, and same thing in Toronto. So get ready, yes. And Kartik Purnima, we did more than 70 sets, Kartik Purnima, okay. So who benefits? The speaker, he who inquires, people in general who listen. So we've introduced to you the Bhadra Purnima, which is what date? And Gomatsya. And Gomatsya is a program that is viable. It's something that you can take with you and use to present the Srimad Bhagavatam to the people that you meet and the people in your community. And now we're going to take a few questions and reflections. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have some questions when I go out for Bhagavatam distribution with Mataji, especially Kameshwari Mataji.
Okay.
So actually, I'm really confused who is ripe and unripe for Bhagavatam, because they are very happy to hear about Bhagavatam. For like half an hour we keep on telling about glories of Bhagavatam. At the end they say, oh, we are not confident to take. So we feel like half an hour or so much time we wasted. I mean, not wasted, but it maybe have some other effect to we can invest them in some ripe people. So how can we know?
It takes a long time to make sandesh also, but it's worth it at the end. And it's anything that's worth doing, the more valuable it is, the more time it takes to invest in it. And Bhagavatam distribution and enrolling people in Gomatsya is a very different kind of rhythm than selling Bhagavad Gita on the street. It's a little bit more fast-paced when you're just selling books, one book to one person. But when you're selling full sets of Bhagavatams, you have to take a little time to cultivate the people. And some people will take, some people won't take. But you'll find at the end of the day, if you sell one Bhagavatam set or two Bhagavatam sets, that your day is a success. And you do have to invest a little bit of time in it, but it's highly worth it. The people who take the full sets of Bhagavatams generally are very high caliber kind of people, and they become even higher caliber after they take the Bhagavatam set. We find that they generally then get interested in doing more devotional service. One of the reasons is taking the Bhagavatam set, it's not the monetary commitment that they're worried about. $250 is nothing. It's pocket, I mean, it's just they have it lying around. It's not a big deal to pay $250. The reason is that there's a real sense that when you take the Bhagavatam and you pay for all these books, the physical form of the books is moving in your house, and you have to respect it. And it means that you're surrendering. It's an act of surrender. So, you know, how long did it take to speak the Bhagavad Gita? 45 minutes? So Krishna took a little time to sell Arjuna, right? He was telling this whole thing. He was like, okay, let me start over again. You know, chapter 3, chapter 4, he said 18 chapters. You know, he wanted to sell the Gita to Arjuna, and Arjuna, you know, could you do this, please? You know, and he said, here's why, and I'll explain the whole thing. So selling Bhagavatam sets like that, you have to take a little time and explain the whole thing, and then you have to start over next chapter. What about this? What about that? What about this? And really what they're saying is, you know, I'd like to surrender, but I want to do it. I want to make a wise choice. I don't want to feel like after I buy this that, you know, somebody's going to say, you know, why'd you do that? I want to be able to defend myself and explain it. And some people don't do it the first time, and the next year when we walk back, they do it the second time. It doesn't go in vain, really. And besides that, it's, you know, realize what you're doing. You're trying to sell the Bhagavatam. I mean, even if you don't sell any Bhagavatams for the rest of your life, which won't happen, by the way, but even if that was the case, you tried to sell Bhagavatam at the end of life, you know, when you're leaving your body, it's like somebody's taking the record. Like, what did they do? You know, like, they tried to sell Bhagavatam. Oh, okay, they're I mean, who does that? Everyone else is trying for all kinds of other things, but this is a big deal. So it's worth the investment of time. It's not a waste at all. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta told his sannyasis, he said, go out every day, knock on 3 or 4 doors. He said, even if they shut the door in your face, they don't take anything, at least they'll think, oh, a spiritual person came to my door, and it'll be in their mind, and they'll think about it. And he said, for you, he told them, he said, if people refuse you, if people argue with you, he said, that gives you spiritual blood for your spiritual body. That's how you get it. You go out and experience a little friction for Krishna. You're trying to convert the unconvertibles. You know, people are satisfied to be here in the material world and keep trying over and over again and smashing their head against the wall, and they just start over next life. And we're trying to give them a little break, and Krishna really appreciates it. That's why he said, there's no servant more dear to me in this world than the person who tries to go out and spread this message. This just happens to be the most practical modern delivery system that we have right now, and the Bhagavatam is the most exalted of all literatures. There is no other better than this. Even from a literary point of view, if you study the Sanskrit, first of all, Sanskrit's the most refined language in the world. It indicates a culture. For instance, in Indology, which started when the British started coming to India, and their whole idea in Britain at the time was that world dominance. See, they had dominance on the whole world, practically. And they were thinking, of course, we're the superior race. So when they'd come into a new place, especially India, then they started thinking, now we're going to prove we're the superior race, so we'll unearth all their literature and show how primitive these people are. And William Jones, in 1700s, he wrote a paper and presented it at one of the Royal Language Societies that shocked not just Britain, but the whole world. And that was, excuse me, but this is the most sophisticated language in the world. We're looking at a culture here that is unbelievably advanced. And people were shocked People were shocked. A lot of people tried to discredit what he said. You know, Sanskrit, they didn't invent it. It must have been somebody else came in and invented it and so forth. And so now out of all the Sanskrit writings, the Bhagavatam's the best. The most intricate and delicate and beautiful of all poetry and philosophy in the world is there in this book. I mean, people right now, they're absorbed in looking at 1-minute videos on, what is it, Snapchat? Is that Snapchat? Instagram. Okay, 1 minute. That's all it can handle, just a little video. And we're giving them the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, Dashma Skanda. Of course they're not going to get it right away. Their brains are jaded, you know, but what can we do? This is Lord Chaitanya's movement. He said, you know, go out, go door to door. He told everyone, go door to door and make this available to everybody. He said, tell them to chant Hare Krishna, tell them to worship Krishna, and tell them to study the teachings of Krishna. These 3 things. And that's what Nityananda, Advaita Acharya, Haridas Thakur, they all did that. So you're in the same league going out and selling Bhagavatam. Haridas Thakur, Advaita Acharya. These are Lord Nityananda. You're following their footsteps. Did Lord Nityananda get people to take at every house? No, it specifically says in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, he went to many houses and they just shut the door on him and said, get out of here. You're the guys who locked us out of Srivasangam. We don't want to see you again. And, you know, a lot of people don't take, even when Lord Nityananda goes. But you can feel solace in knowing that you're doing the right thing. So try to sell Bhagavatam. Just see what happens. You'll change the world. Yes?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. You mentioned one point that, you know, when we glorify Bhagavatam and they, even if they don't tell, it is not gone vain and they will take it later. I just wanted to share one time we went, it was in Fremont, kids, I remember Shamalangi Mataji, Sundarananda Prabhu and myself, we were there and we knocked one door when one person came out and then he recognized us, though we didn't recognize him. He said, last year I came to the temple and you showed me Srimad Bhagavatam and that time I didn't take it and it's coming back to me and I take it as Lord's sign. He wants me to take it and I don't have courage to say no. And he immediately took it actually. So, yeah.
Nice. Okay. The kids' Sankirtan party is here and you pick a representative because there's kids that came here. You all came here to hear about kids' Sankirtan, right? Say yes. Yes. So now some of you tell them what you like about book distribution or how long you've been doing it or say anything about going out on books. Because you're kids, you're representing the kids' Sankirtan party. You can give to Srivatsa. What I feel about book distribution? Just speak your heart. Enliven these kids. They came all the way here. These are fantastic kids too. They're really fired up. They're into book distribution. They flew all the way here. So tell them what you think they should hear about book distribution.
Book distribution is probably the best way to establish your morals in Krishna consciousness because it gives you more drive to read the books and also gives you more drive to associate with devotees. Because by reading the books, Prabhupada's talking to you, and by associating with devotees, you're spending time with likewise people, and by doing that, that allows you to chant with much more vigor, and that allows you to be more connected with Krishna.
Kids, what do you think of one of your leaders here? What is your opinion of him? Thumbs up? Give him a hand. Okay, now one of the girls, you say. Pick a spokesperson. Just speak from your heart. We want to hear from your heart.
Book distribution is a great experience, and not only, like Shivatsa said, it gives you a drive to read the books because you always want to distribute something that you've read before, or else you feel like, I don't even know what I'm giving away. And also, it's not only good for others, it's also fun for yourself. Like there's prasadam, there are lots of other kids you can be with.
It's fun, right? Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So what we have seen in Connecticut, right, we were able to sell books, but we haven't seen the turnaround after that. The people after a year, they haven't come back. So is that something that you do a follow-up, or what should be our strategy?
Yeah, it's a good idea to keep track of people and go back and give them gifts, give them invitations, and try to offer them various ways in which to get educated and move up in Krishna consciousness. So for instance, here we have Discover Yourself, the DYS, which is an introductory level class that everybody can take. And do you all want to say anything about your follow-up? Some of the things that are working?
Recently we launched the GIFT, the Giving in Friendship team.
GIFT, Giving in Friendship Team, GIFT. Go ahead.
So last month, we collected the list of the people we met door to door, and very favorable people. And we actually made a package with some prasadam, with a calendar, which is a small gift, and a postcard. And the postcard said that if you like to keep in touch with us, here is an email and phone number of the person you met earlier who gave you the book. And we gave about 20 of those gifts, and out of the 20 we heard back from 4 people saying that this really touched my heart, thank you so much for doing this, and things like that. So now we are planning to do a second level for them, for those who responded back. So we feel that connecting back with them, some of them are coming back as well. So this is our launch of initial program.
So people don't mind getting gifts?
Oh, they love it.
Yeah, so you can keep that in mind. SKP.
Sri Gopal Prabhu gave a prasadam laddu to the one family. He said, we didn't order any laddu, why do you got for us? So when he knocked the door. But the gift program, Prabhu, when we are giving, it is, one time I gave a Srimad Bhagavatam set, myself, Mataji, and he gave only $100, $125, and then we kind of forget, and then I texted few times, but he didn't responded. But I was chanting in Cupertino one afternoon, Prabhu, in the road. So he was coming on the in a car, and he saw me stop the car, and he get out of his car. I said, no, thank you for giving me 6 months loan. So I'll give my 120 back more. Please come to my home. And he showed all the books. And he was so happy that you gave the installment payments. That I want to highlight that we do installments also.
Do installments.
And he paid the rest of the 125. Prabhu.
So after you sell a set, you can go chant outside their house.
Their house.
Just walk around. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Yes.
I was remembering in one time when we were out on book distribution, we actually gave a lady a Bhagavatam, and she said that she'll get back to us. And after talking to her husband, so I tried to call her many times. She never responded. I went to her house. She didn't open the door. I could hear that there were people inside. Then I decided, okay, I'm not too sure if she's really going to give me the books back or the money. So I went. I didn't. But she had my number. So after a month, she texted me. She said, can I talk to you sometime this week? I said, yeah, absolutely. And then when I called her, she said, I actually took the Bhagavatam and kept it in my altar, but I don't earn, so I can't pay. I really want to keep the books. So I said, that's fine. So she asked me, how much are the books? I said, $250. So she said, I'll slowly keep collecting, and then I'll give it to you when I have enough. So for almost, if she had paid me, I would probably not have been in touch with her as much. But almost every week she'll tell me, I can't come to temple. Can you send me the pictures of the deities? So I started sending the pictures of the deities to her. And then so she became good friends. And one day she just, she collected 100. She's still collecting a little bit more, but her first installment came in. And she came and gave the $100. She said, this is something that I saved. My husband doesn't know, but I still wanted to, I didn't want to take it for free.
That makes it even better. Parakia. Yeah. So it gives you some idea. Yes. Yeah, please. And just keep in mind, too, we're going to have a whole section on set distribution. Today was just a mention of it. Yes.
Question on MSF. Devotees ask me like how book distribution is included in Sankirtan. Like, no, they say Sankirtan means singing the holy name. So how?
Well, if you read my book, you'll have a lot of answers, because I have a chapter called Literary Kirtan, Yuga Dharma and the Literary Kirtan. In that chapter are many quotes from Prabhupada, because the same question came up when Prabhupada was here. And Prabhupada's answer was invariably that the distributing of books is written kirtan. And he said they should both go on together. But of the two, the more important is the book distribution, because he said it's Brihat Madanga. It's the greater Madanga. That's how he defined it. He said, but they should go on together at the same time. So some people think, okay, the classical thing, it's just chant Hare Krishna, and that's the Yuga Dharma. But there's no difference in distributing the books, because the sound vibration is going out. That's the principle. This was the principle that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta inculcated into his disciples and into our line of disciplic succession that Prabhupada brought also. So please read that chapter of my book, and you'll have ready answers for people when they answer. In fact, when I was writing my book, there was somebody else writing something else, and I just happened to be getting excerpts of it, and it was completely wrong. They were writing about the history of book distribution and so forth in a wrong-headed way, and I confirmed it through all of Prabhupada's letters and with his senior disciples and everything. Everyone I showed it to, the manuscript this other person was writing, said this person is completely off and wrong. So I thought they were going to publish their book, so it made me speed up and take time off to get my book out first to set the record straight, using direct quotes from Shastra and from Prabhupada's teachings and from eyewitnesses who were there, talking about the importance of book distribution as a front runner of the Yuga Dharma itself. So they're the same. There's no difference, except for one is called the Brihat Madanga because it's considered to be louder. As an example in the book, Prabhupada gives, he said the president at that time's daughter and son bought a book in Washington, D.C., and they walked right in the White House with it. He said, we couldn't take the Harinam Kirtan in the White House, but the book went in. He said, that's one of the symptoms of how powerful these books are as loud kirtan. So you can consider like that. Thank you very much. Krishna Kirtana. Wait, we'll do the other tune. Krishna Kirtana. She takes. Huh? Vande Rupa Sanatano. No, wait, give me the other tune. There's so many tunes coming at me now. What? Okay, we won't fight it. Krishna, all together. Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro Premamritam Bonidhi Dhira Dhira Jana Priyo Priyakaro. A little faster. Matsaro Pujito Shri Chaitanya Kripabara Bhuvi Bhuva Bharavahantarako Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyaga Shri Jiva Gopalako Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuna Sadharma Samstapaka Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manya Sharanyakaro Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nandena Mataliko Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako Shri Gauranga Gunarnuvarnana Vidao Shraddha Samriddhyanvito Papo Tapa Nikrintano Tanubritam Govinda Ganamrita Anandam Buddhivardhanaika Nipunao Kaivalya Nistarako Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako Tyaktva Turnama Sheshamandalapati Shrenim Sada Tuchavat Bhutva Dina Ganesha Kau Karunaya Kaupina Kanta Shrita Gopi Bhavara Samritabdi Lahari Kalola Magno Mohu Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako Kujat Kokila Hamsa Sara Sagana Kinye Mayura Kule Nana Ratna Nibada Mula Vitapa Shri Yukta Vrindavane Radha Krishna Maharnishambra Bhajatao Jivarta Dao Muda Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako Sankhya Purvaka Namagana Natibi Kalavasani Krita Nidrahara Viharakari Vijata Chatyanta Dinao Chayao Krishna Guna Smriter Madhurima Nandena Sammohito Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako Radha Kundata Te Kalinda Tanaya Tire Chavam Shivate Premon Madhavashara Shesha Dashaya Grasto Pramata Sada Gayanto Chakadahare Gunavaram Bhava Vibhuto Muda Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako He Radhe Vraja Devike Chalalite He Nanda Sunakutaha Shri Govardhana Kalpa Parapatale Kalindi Vanye Kuta Goshanta Viti Sarvato Vrajapure Kedar Mahavivalo Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako Shad Goswami Ashtakam Ki Jai Shad Goswami Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Go Premanande Itai Gauda Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Itai Gauda Hari Bo We're deeply touched that many of you came from other states, flew all day long to come here, or a few days ago some of you came, and to spend time with us here. We very much value your association and look forward to having it throughout this weekend. And to all of you at ISV who came out tonight to be part of this, equally touched. And to those who joined us online from many places around the world, thank you for tuning in and helping to expand the book distribution movement all over the world to continue Prabhupada's legacy and the legacy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. We've got a lot more coming up over the weekend, many seminars starting tomorrow at what time? 8 o'clock we start tomorrow.
Yes, Prabhuji, 8 a.m.
8 a.m. we start, and you're going to learn tomorrow how to distribute a book?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, I'll teach you how to sell Bhagavad Gita on its own merit, and I guarantee it that once you learn this method, you'll be able to sell a Gita anywhere, at any time, to any person. And your money back from this seminar if you don't. And there'll be other presentations tomorrow. What do we got?
So, Prabhuji, tomorrow morning 7 a.m. will be a light breakfast. And then 7 to 7:45 a.m. and then we get ready for 8 a.m. There's a presentation on Street Sankirtan and University Sankirtan, 8 to 8:30 a.m. And 8:30 a.m. to 9:15 a.m. will be how to sell a Srimad Bhagavatam set. And after that is the presentation on how to distribute Bhagavad Gita on its own merit, with a one-on-one session, practical session that Prabhu was talking about. And then after that we'll have Prasadam, and we head out at noon for book distribution.
And we're going to many different places all over the city, and it'll be seamless. It'll be easy to get there. The spots will be fun and fine, and then we're going to come back in the evening.
Yes, Prabhu. So the book distribution will end around 5:45 p.m. and we'll be back at the temple by 6:30 p.m. There will be prasadam here, and after that there will be 7 o'clock. There will be reflection, sharing your reflections from the day. You can share how was your day, what you learned, is anything that we can improve.
Thank you very much. Vanchakalpadurvascha kripasinabhevacha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha go premanande haribo. Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki.